Hello and welcome to the show. Today's edition promises to be really exciting. While some artists are creating conversations with their forms, others are using their works to celebrate a man who made a huge impact in the art world. That's our lineup on Art House this week. You get more details in a moment.
There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you. Words mean more than what is set down on paper. It takes the human voice to infuse them with deeper meaning.
The Visual Explorators is a group made up of about 12 artists who have had a bumpy ride trying to make sure their voices are heard loud and clear. Some of them are young hands determined to grow. That journey has produced a dialogue of forms and exhibition at the Reconnect Gallery in Lagos.
Different techniques, different themes from different hands meet here to create a dialogue with their forms at the Reconnect Gallery in Lagos. The crowd is led by the curator, Mrs. Olayemi Madu, who explains these works done by artists eager to show off their different philosophies from their art schools.
The exhibition is all about artists expressing themselves in different media. And this is a group exhibition of 12 artists who were trained from different schools of thought and with different philosophy. So from printmaker to painters to abstract painters. So we have everybody comes together to make this group called Visual Explorators.
If you look at the works, they are in different categories. You might see around some children. Some of the artists, they are just good at expressing children. Some forms, but in some way you realize that they're communicating something.
So the artists are having a conversation with forms as their works of art are saying many things. Some of them document interesting scenes from the several parts of the country, such as this one titled Market Mode, an oil and canvas painting by Kolawole Kosoko.
Some persons call me a landscape artist, but for me I see myself as an artist who expresses himself in diverse media and in different concepts. Basically, when you look at the work on display here, the three works that I'm exhibiting is basically on documentary, because as at the period that I was producing this work, I was running a commentary on Nigerian landscape as at that time. This particular work is a document on Ila-Orogun, you understand, a landscape of Ila-Orogun, a particular place called Ilorin Township, you understand. That was when I captured this scene.
Printmaker Kunle Adeyemi's work stands out here with Nelson Edewo, the piece called Over 2,000 Years After, Jesus Still Evergreen, which is done in a mixed media technique. Another work shows the theological line is Symphony of Grace, done with metal foil, a technique made by popular veteran artist Professor Bruce Onobrakpeya and learned by others such as Dr. Kunle Adeyemi, who has passed it to the next generation.
The inspiration came out of nature, came out of beauty. And if you see the walls, you see flower in the center, radiating all around. You know, it's talking about vitality, it's talking about strength, it's talking about beauty, it's talking about love, it's talking about, flower goes a long way.
This mixed media work is sure to catch anyone's attention. It's titled, I Am Beautiful. It's done with so many materials, including glass, which is broken to add to the story. This artist believes beauty comes from outside and discourages women from focusing on their outward appearance.
We're talking about the inner thing. That is your character, your attitude, your behavior. That is why I use the artwork to interpret that. And breaking the mirror, I'm saying something that stop looking in the mirror. Correct the beauty you have in you. That is character, your attitude, and behavior to people.
while Abiola Adeyemi stands as the voice of the young and restless generation.
I have come to, sensitize the society that the youth that we have nowadays are youth full of vision, full of strength, full of power. They can see into the future, and if only they can be given such an opportunity, as we can see right in that work. Although the child is very small, it can be said not to have had such a kind of capacity, to handle, the steering and to drive. But if only given such an opportunity, the youth of this nation can drive this nation to the destiny that is meant to be. So that's what the work is talking about.
This group is looking forward to having many other shows, and this gallery is anxiously waiting to receive as many artists that have got talent.
Still to come on Art House, guess who our Artist of the Week is? Here are a few pointers.
Guarantee Trust Bank, proudly African, truly international.
He was really passionate about impacting his knowledge on the next generation, so he organized and conducted television training for the National Council of Art and Culture in Lagos.
Wherever and whatever your banking needs, Guarantee Trust Bank will be there, now and into the future. Because you're at the heart of everything we do. Guarantee Trust Bank, proudly African, truly international.
Steve Rhodes, 6 years after, is an exhibition in honor of the ace broadcaster, which took place at the Freedom Park in Lagos. It made a huge impact in the art world, so his family, friends, and the art community gathered to say thank you, well done, and you can never be forgotten.
It's been 6 years since Nigeria's music impresario Steve Rhodes passed on, but his influence on the arts lingers in the hearts of those he left behind. To remember his achievements, a photo exhibition on the life and times of the late musicologist and broadcaster was organized by associates, family and friends who gathered at the Freedom Park in Lagos.
Has continued to sustain this foundation.
On hand to declare the event open was Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka, who had a story to tell about Steve Rhodes' drive for perfection.
There's anything to take away from Democracy Day can only be an artistic event of this kind, honoring those who deserve honoring.
And the tour begins with a collection of awards, news clippings and other memorabilia on display. So what can be said about the many sides of Steve Rhodes? As a contemporary,
I have been privileged in my life to be successful in most of the things in the professional career. I worked with him in television. I produced him in television. I directed most of his shows on television. And when Independent Television Producers Association of Nigeria, he was the first president, he handed over to me. And I couldn't have been more privileged than that.
He was the best Nigerian that I have ever known. That's the truth. He's full of life, full of energy. I watched Steve Rhodes at 80, stood for 3 hours during a production. I don't know if there's a Nigerian living that can do that. 3 hours at 80. I marveled. And I said to him, congratulations, sir. This is, for me, the best thing that can ever happen to this industry.
As a father,
always there for his kids, despite the fact he was a real creative person. So he had his moments when he didn't want any of us around, like when he's in the process of creating, he would withdraw and be by himself. But when he was with us, he was very much a hands-on dad, very wise, very, very wise. He was, and very generous in spirit. He believed very firmly in sharing his knowledge with other people. And because of that, he always had people around him, particularly young people. He got on very well with young people. And there was nobody who had anything to do with him who didn't leave without getting something from him.
And as a mentor.
The thing with music is you've got to love it to do it right. And that's why Uncle Steve was unique. What we need to do now is what he used to do. Mentor the young ones. It's easy for them to fall in love with, whatever is contemporary, funky, American influence stuff, But behind all that stuff, even the folks that they are learning from or they are copying have already learned the real music itself. That's why when Uncle Steve put together his choral group, he could train amateur singers, people who weren't professionally performing, but who had talent. He could guide them, train them, until the whole group could sound professional.
It's a reminder even to me, myself, the things I do, not necessarily in the arts, but following the same example. Uncle Steve was a living example of pass it on. It gives you enough to want to pass on of your own self.
We had a cat and mouse relationship that was too much into we need to be together. Whether we are Tom and Jerry lifestyle. He was both the Tom and the Jerry. I am just I'm just the unruly child, the Jerry that refuses to just grow up. I miss him terribly. He was like the stabilizing factor for me. So no matter how crazy or unruly or brash or totally impulsive that I am, I like the fact that he's always there, and then we get to balance that scale. So that's my relationship with Daddy. Too intense.
This snippet of his life that we've just been open to a lot of people will give people an insight into the person that he is. And one is that he's a core professional. He's a great administrator. He's a man that is very detailed when it comes to music, very detailed when it comes to arrangement of music and anything along that line. Had a great sense of humor and can be very firm. He's the only person that I've seen stop a performance to tell somebody to get off, And in music parlance, a lot of people don't do that. They just be like, okay, let the song finish. He stopped the song, told the guys and said, take it from the top again. And he's that professional.
Elder Steve Rhodes, simply unforgettable.
And that's why it's essential to live a good life and leave footprints in the sands of time. Okay, we're taking another break. Stay with us because Art House continues in a moment. As close as you can get to the real deal, that's what hits you when you look at Olumide Oreshegun's works. As he lights up the My Dream Gallery with over 20 realistic paintings.
The title is called Glistening.